The year was 3091, and Earth was no longer the center of humanity's story. After centuries of expansion into deep space, humanity had fractured into 5 dominant civilizations spread across the stars, each governed by a different ideology: technology, biology, energy, memory, and control. At the heart of this cosmic chessboard was Iran Prime, a neutral planet surrounded by ancient alien ruins known as the Echo Rings. No one knew who had built them, only that they pulsed with energy far beyond human understanding. Enter Captain Kale Viral, a former military commander turned salvager, haunted by the scars of war and the death of his wife, Myra, during the siege of Titan's Reach. He now roamed forgotten star systems aboard his aging ship, the Eclipser, seeking relics and distractions to bury the pain. Kale's quiet exile was shattered when he intercepted a distress signal echoing from the Echo Rings. But this wasn't a normal call, it was encoded with his wife's voice. "Kale, I'm here, I'm alive." He froze. Myra had been gone for 7 years. He had buried her, watched her die. Yet the message wasn't fake. The signal was decades old, bouncing endlessly inside the Echo Ring's orbit. Something, or someone, had kept it preserved, untouched by time. Driven by desperation and a flicker of impossible hope, Kale set course for Iran Prime. Upon arrival, he found the planet under lockdown. 4 major factions had converged: the Technarchs with their AI fleets, the Bioforged who had merged flesh with alien DNA, the Centauri who could manipulate pure energy, and the Archivum, a mysterious order preserving ancestral memory in neural crystals. All of them wanted access to the rings. But standing between them and the truth was a 5th group, the Warden Circle, guardians of the rings, sworn to prevent any civilization from unleashing what slept within. Kale wasn't part of their game, not anymore, but the rings had chosen him, literally. As he stepped near the outer ring, a pulse of light surged into his body. His eyes flashed and he collapsed. When he awoke, he saw her, Myra, not physically but within his mind. A projection, a memory, a fragment of her essence that had been absorbed by the alien tech during the siege. She had been recorded, not saved. But Myra was conscious, aware and scared. "The rings are not relics," she said inside his thoughts. "They are containment fields, and something is waking up." It was called the Unraveling, a remnant from a civilization older than the stars, a sentient entropy, a living collapse. It had been imprisoned within the rings thousands of millennia ago by beings long extinct. Now, the war-hungry factions gathering on Iran Prime, each trying to tap into the energy, were unknowingly weakening the locks. And Kale, through his bond with Myra and the rings, was now the key. Word of his activation spread fast. The factions wanted him, some to protect, others to use, and a few to eliminate. Kale was hunted. He fled into the ruins with the help of Tess Nyari, a Centauri rebel with plasma veins and a fierce heart. She had once been sent to kill him, but changed her mind when Myra reached out through the ring network to show her the truth. Tess and Kale formed a tense alliance. They fought together against Technarch mechs, bioforged monstrosities, Archivum mindwalkers. As they traveled deeper into the rings, Myra guided them, her essence growing more real with every lock they reactivated. Kale started to change. He could control matter. He could reshape energy. The rings were rewriting his neural code, evolving him. At first, it frightened him. Then he accepted it. He wasn't just here to find Myra. He was here to become something more. The factions prepared for war, a final battle over the heart of the rings. Kale and Tess knew it was now or never. They stormed the central node, a floating obsidian chamber encased in anti-reality fields. It was there Kale saw it, a dark sphere, writhing like a heartbeat, the prison of the unraveling. It whispered to him, tempting him with visions of undoing his grief, bringing Myra back fully, rewriting the universe to erase all his pain. "Accept me," it cooed, "and she lives again." Kale hesitated. Then Myra appeared fully this time, formed from light and energy but unmistakably her. "If you do this," she said softly, "you'll lose yourself. I died. That truth hurts. But it's real. Don't become what destroyed us. Tess stood ready beside them, power humming at her fingertips. Kale closed his eyes. He reached out not to the unraveling but to the rings. He activated their final sequence. A burst of white light engulfed the chamber. Across the planet the factions were blinded. Their ships shut down. Weapons froze. Artificial minds rebooted. The rings had awakened. Instead of releasing the unraveling, Kale had turned himself into the new warden. A living interface. A bridge between the relics and reality. The entity was sealed again. And this time the prison would hold, but there was a cost. Kale's body became part of the rings. He could no longer leave, but his mind remained. Myra's presence faded, now at peace. Her final words echoed through his thoughts. You let me go and saved everything. Years passed. The factions eventually departed, shaken and quiet. A new treaty was formed. The Echo Rings were declared sacred, off-limits, protected by an invisible force no one could challenge. But in the deep caverns of Iran Prime, Tess stayed. She returned often, speaking aloud though no one answered. Until one day, as she touched the outer wall of the ring, a pulse of light flickered. Kale's voice, faint but clear, whispered, "You came back." She smiled through tears. And the stars watched as the last warden, born of loss and love, guarded the galaxy with silent strength, not as a soldier, but as legend.